that you would see certain things. And we also have a tendency as human beings, and it's built into our survival, to see other faces. You know, we're always going to be looking, like if we're lost, we'll be looking for a face, you know. And so when we see
Or a
clouds and ink
familiar,
blots,
a familiar,
a
a
familiar,
familiar association.
right. But when we're really desperate, we're looking for other human beings. And we just have this natural inborn tendency to find faces everywhere because we're trained. I mean, we're it's kind of built in to find other. Now, when I look at the tarot, I'm looking. I guess what it is that the symbols in the tarot are all the little pictures and every little thing that's in there, even little things that look like they're unimportant. They all are. They all have meaning, and so they are. They all have many different meanings depending on where the cards fall in the layout and if it's upside down or not. So I would say that the comparison would be intuitive rather than reading. You know, like we would be,
Oops.
um, yeah, we kind of had a hiccup there, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a hiccup.
Uh, yeah, it kind of threw me off. But I think it would be more of an intuitive process to interpret as it was an ink blot or twist. So I think you can probably do that better than I can. If I am intuitive, I'm not usually aware of it, you know. But I think probably I do. I would probably be reading them the same way. It would be interesting to have a set of cards designed like ink blots.
I'll
That
bet they're
might be
there, and I'll
interesting.
bet I would bet
Yeah.
you. I would bet you if you looked on the card on Amazon or something, and maybe you could do that. Check out to see if they have any Rorschach Ink Blot Tarot. Here's
Hmm.
what I see. How is Rorschach like tarot? There's no denying that the interpretation of the pictures on tarot cards is like Rorschach ink blots in the way that the person also projects and feels based on their mental stability, childhood experiences, and spiritual outlook, which is why we have to be so careful about who we choose for a reader.
Hmm.
Because just like those ink blot tests, you could have 5 people sitting down and they would all see something different in those ink blots, right?
Well, and plus you have to realize that it's a human being that's reading the cards, and human beings are given to their own um, interpretation based upon their own experiences in life. I mean,
Mm.
if they have a lousy outlook, and if they've had a
Right.
negative, and they're psychic and they're card readers, but you know that psychological state or that personality could actually give you a pretty awful reading because they're going to be
Yeah.
seeing the worst part. You know, um, I have seen some readings where I thought, well, my gosh, this is completely doom and gloom. Look at this. And it's like it actually wasn't, you know, but they were seeing it that way because of their just the way they are. I mean, I know some people that are so negative, I don't even want to talk to them in a conversation, like at a party. People
Much
that I
less have a
like, but they're a complete downer. Everything I say has a counter to it that is, oh yeah, but it's,
uh,
and I just like, you know, this is exhausting. It's exhausting. And but you know, but now you take that same person and have them read your cards. Oh my gosh,
oh,
that could be
they
really
have seen a negative
disastrous.
in you.
Yeah.
However, when I also look at the difference of Rorschach, and please forgive me out there if I'm saying it wrong,
Ink blot.
ink blot, ink test interpretation, and tarot. Tarot, you know, channeling is connecting to a frequency of consciousness,
Hmm.
translating the energy into various forms of expression. So, like you said, if someone negative out there, they may be a great reader, but if they're having a lousy day, or
Yeah.
they're seeing the world in a very because of depression, mental depression, or whatever, that is going to color their reading.
Yeah.
And also, I believe that um, when a person is channeling, they're opening a channel to a frequency, much as you do when you tune into a television or radio station. And excuse me, the channeling can be expressed in the thoughts or images through the tarot, spoken or written words, of course, like our books, sound, sensation, or knowing. So obviously, the difference is that when we are reading tarot for other people, our projection is not about ourselves. As you just said, all those thoughts and the history and the way we see the world is not just about us anymore. It's about the trying to see that and project it about the other person. So we have to be really, really careful. And I saw this on the Keen. Sometimes I check out the Keen meeting of readers and stuff. And there
Oh.
was one guy that says, you know, every reader gets to a burnout point.
Oh yeah.
And it's very important during that burnout point not to read cards or not to
I
give
that's what I
readings.
do. If
Yeah.
I feel that I'm not, like, a lot of times, sometimes, and lately I really haven't been on keen. I mean, I do check my messages to see if somebody wanted to contact me, but sometimes I'm just not on because I just don't think I can do it that day. You know, it doesn't happen. I mean, I've never had that time when you've asked me to do a show. You know, we've always been fortunate that I've had good days for that.
Yeah.
But
Well, and
there
sometimes
are
having
times when I
someone
feel
be
no.
there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and there are certain people that I personally know quite well, people in my life where I actually do not encourage them to ask for a reading. I mean, if they do, I won't refuse, but I don't suggest it because I kind of don't think sometimes it's a good idea for some people in terms
Well,
of
yeah.
their attitude. You
You
know,
would not you would it's just like certain days you wanna dance and certain days you wanna sit on
right,
your butt. And there's certain
right.
days that you know that you're a good pet owner and certain days where you don't give the dog as much
And
attention.
there are certain days when you can't make a meal, where you can't even where you can burn
Everything
the
you
water.
touch, everything
You
yeah,
know, right,
everything you touch when you're cooking
right.
turns to crap, you know? So
Well,
that's the same way with reading.
yes.
Another thing that I saw is like, and I just wanna add to this, when the beginner starts reading tarot, it's all about memorizing the rules and
Oh yeah.
meanings of the cards. However, when the experienced reader channels tarot, another layer begins. It's kind of like the touch of the cards, the aroma of the ink, the rhythm of the shuffle, the
Yes.
feel of the cards cupped to the hands
Hmm.
creates a sort of meditative trance.
Or that little
And
card that sometimes is hanging on to the other card, and
or
it's like,
have you ever done
maybe
the
we should have a look at that.
yes,
Um,
or the one that flies out of the deck, or the one where
yes.
sometimes they're like very centered and all of a sudden the cards go and they fly in the
Yes.
air. That's a really weird one. So
Well, the meanings. Sometimes there are some very good beginners sets for people who are learning, and they do have the meanings on the cards. In fact, I had a deck like that, and I have them here, and they have the meanings on the
oh, those are good
cards.
ones. Oh, that's
Okay,
just your
it's for beginners. And you know what? Oh, here, let me bring this up. There. Okay, so you can
oh,
see they have, but you can't really. It's too small. But you know what? Here's the thing about that. Somebody has read the card. Somebody knows the card, and and they had come up with as many possible meanings as it could be, and they stick them all on there. It does not mean that that card represents all of those at one time, you know. And plus, there are many, many other meanings besides what they could stick onto that card, because I've read pages and pages about one single card. you know,
Right.
and there's no way that they could put all that on there. And a lot of it isn't so much, okay, now I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, well, yeah, I'm going to ignore all this, you know, and I happen to like these cards, but you know, it's look at the card itself and the feeling I get when I look at the card. I look at the images, which are very carefully designed to, you know, to express emotions and events or possibilities, you know, in the subject of who I'm reading for. So, like a Rorschach test, it's what I see in the images when I look at the card. And plus, yeah, I do have some prior knowledge of having read about the cards, but I would have to say, no, I don't actually really have them memorized. It's more like I look at the symbols and I use the impression or the feeling I get from looking at the symbols. You know, did I lose Anne Marie? She's awfully quiet.
Yeah,
We
Joseph, she
lost Anne Marie,
disappeared,
but I'm going
and
to
I'm
keep
trying to
going.
get her
But
back.
I don't know how. I can't really take any calls or anything because I don't have that set up. So
I'm going
we're
to try
going
to get her back. Hang on.
see. Let's do the card of the day. Okay. What I picked up for the card of the day is the Two of Swords. Now this is depicted as a woman holding two swords, and she is sitting on a little chair, and behind her is like a body of water. And now there are very. This tells me that her heart, that the subject's heart, is closed off to avoid the possibility of experiencing more pain. And so, for the thought on this card, for the card of the day, would be that is an acknowledgement that your emotional barriers have been protecting you from pain. But do be careful that these barriers don't keep you from enjoying love and a good time. And that's the thought for today, and that's the card we have for today.
Well, thank you very much for
But
that.
now if you could look it up, and you could just pages on the meaning. And of course, this meaning would change if it's in a line with other cards. And it would depend upon the question that you're asking. But now this was just a random card of the day, thought of the day. So if you are one of those people who have been putting up emotional blocks to keep from getting hurt because you have been hurt before, try to open the door a little bit to let some of that love in and some of those good feelings, because it's not fair that you should be a prisoner, you know. So you know, get out there. So that was
We have
I did that because I
Joseph.
lost you and I didn't know where you went.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and you did a very good job. And
oh, it
we
kind of
had a
threw
room
me.
full. We have some people in the room. We have Debbie from Pennsylvania, and we have
Hi, Debbie.
Sarah.
Thanks.
And I don't know if Sarah is. We've got a Sarah from NH, and we've got a Sarah from HI. So not sure.
HI
I'm
would be
going.
Hawaii, right? No.
Well, let's start out. I'm going to say let's start out with Debbie from Pennsylvania, because we
Okay.
do want to take the callers first, because they are trying to get a reading, and we can hear their voice.
And we started
Um,
late.
Thank you. Jan from LA is also on, but she's in quicking. So Debbie, what can we do for you?
Hello, how you
Debbie,
doing today?
Hi, Debbie.
great. What's going on with our Debbie?
Good. Oh, nothing much. Just want a quick reading to see what's happening that you see around me. All is well. I'm trying to keep a positive
Okay.
attitude. You know, things are kicking me left and right, but I'm holding my head up. This too shall
That's all you
pass.
can do. That's all you can do, Debbie. Let's see. Joseph, do you want to go first, or should I?
Well, I'm going to let you go first this time because I've
Okay,
been going
I
first.
am Debbie. I am using my angel cards today. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
I can go into more detail on what I see, but I really dearly love these because they just give a word and a picture. And so the first thing that it says is, please be patient. Your angels are saying
Okay.
that this is a time where your persistence needs to be about patience rather than action.
Okay.
And that
Okay.
you have to kind of be disciplined in your goals at this time. Your
Okay.
reading also says that it says a lot of this, it says, is about fear of rejection from others,
Okay.
possibly, and that just don't let it stop you. Just
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
keep on keeping on. The
Okay.
other thing that says in the past is that sometimes it's really hard to break through people who aren't listening, and it takes so much patience, and they just seem as if they are completely dumbfounded by you. And there's a sense
Okay.
that one of the things is they don't necessarily get you, and you don't necessarily get them. But that's
Okay.
okay. As you said, this is about being disciplined and patience. Hold your head high as you have been doing,
Okay.
and I'm showing that this'll all work itself out. But it's just you're
Okay.
kind of in a jail sentence with people that don't
Right.
get you, and they may be a little intimidated by you at this time. Joseph, what do you
Okay.
have?
Well, I am seeing that currently what's going on, we have the Eight of Pentacles, and that means that you are currently faced with a lot of hard work. I mean, you're currently doing a lot of hard work, and if you're not, you need to be, because you have to back up what you know or what you said.
Okay.
If you're going to give instructions or apply for a job. And now, if this is the other part of this, is that it could also be about love. It means that neither one of you are prepared for the current relationship. That's if you're in a relationship. But what I am now, if you're going out for a relationship, and you have to be prepared to put in a bit more than, I mean, maybe in the past you didn't really have to all that much, but for some reason at this point in time you're being requested to put in a little more work, a little more of yourself. Okay. And
Okay.
what I do see in the near future, now the near future is the Knight of Pentacles, and he's upside down. And now, it means that you need to focus more on your work. And it's also a little reminder for the future too, that you really need to focus more on work. And I'm seeing pentacles all over the place, and that to me also usually symbolizes monetary things, money, things, possessions. Okay. And
Okay.
I'm seeing that if you're working for the money, this is a time that you need to be as grown up as possible, and then it will work out. Now, you
Okay.
might be
Which
feeling
I think
rather unexcited about it, but you have to realize that this is on you. This is on you. So you're encouraged to learn something new and to be open to change, so that you could learn, and don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. Don't throw away something that you wish you hadn't, because you're going to need everything. Okay, but I do see
Okay.
work, and I don't know what does that. I have this feeling that work is on your mind, or that you need to work because you need to acquire some more things that you might need. But I am seeing this as a monetary thing, about things and money and security, that sort of thing. And yes, it's all going to work out, but you got to work at it. You got to keep it up, and you got to be an adult. Okay.
I
Okay.
would add to that, Debbie, that I see this as a time. and I get the magician, and he's upside down.
Oh, I like
The
it.
magician. The magician usually right side up means somebody that has a lot of dreams, a lot of plans, but sometimes it doesn't always have the action. I see you as an action person. No wonder you intimidate people because you don't put up with this crap of all talk and no action. You
Yeah,
gotta do it. You
but you got to keep it
gotta
up. Yeah,
and
this is
and
not
that's
the
the stuff.
time. It's not the time to rest on your laurels. You really have
I
to
don't think
step.
she can. I
Yeah,
don't
you
think she can
can't.
rest on her
No,
laurels. I don't think she's capable of it.
no, you're not
And I
able
think
to.
And that's probably what's got some people bewildered and a little in anxiety around you because they see you as somebody that's going to fly, that's going to. Yes, you're about work. Yes, you're about following action or words with action, and that's got some people feeling a little intimidated and a little raw. So keep your head up, wear a fan connected to your hair in the morning and let it fly behind you, even if it's
Yeah,
short or whatever.
because
Let your wear a scarf and let it blow
yeah.
behind you. Be
Well, be careful though with that.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah, we don't want to have. I mean, don't wear the long Isadora Duncan scarf. You don't want to do that. But I will say,
no,
seeing all these pentacles tells me that really you've worked a lot, and it's all about work. It's work, 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 and it's work, and it's all to get things. It's like, well, you know what? Okay, well maybe, okay, sure, you have to keep it up because if you don't do that, then you're gonna, things just kind of go, but maybe you should remain open a little bit, maybe it's a little bit less emphasis on work so you can let in some of that love, personal fulfillment, not just what you acquire or the kind of house you
well,
got.
up, and remember this: people love how they work.
Yeah.
So if you're the kind of person that is work, 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 you're also going to be the person that has to do it all in a relationship. And I tell you what, that
Yeah.
really blows relationships. If you do it all, they're either going to toss you out the window like the baby water that you're talking about, or
Mhm.
the feeling is it's going to cause a lot of arguments.
Or you'll
So
feel underappreciated, and then you'll start being
you'll
kind of
feel
mad
ripped
all the
off.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Debbie, that's what we see, and we're sticking to it.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a good
And
night.
I was using my little kid cards for this, my little toy cards, but I didn't look at the
Oh, yeah?
meanings because that would just throw me off. If I tried to read these things, they'd be like, "What?" I just look at the pictures, and that's what
That's
I.
the way to do it. You're doing it like the Rorschach Ink Blot test.
Right.
All right. We're going to take a Sarah whose message is in quick, and she says, "Hi, Anne Marie and Joseph.
Hi,
I
Sarah.
recently started a new job for 20 hours a week, and my boss keeps putting me down for more hours, up to 40, when I only wanted 20. I have said I don't want certain days, and she puts them down anyway. Mercury retrograde is coming up. I want to give notice, but I really like this job. Will she end up listening to me, or do you see me getting done? I can't work more than 20 hours."
All right. Well, you know what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that I say get your resumes out there and start. I mean, keep this job for as long as you can, because what I'm seeing here is the King of Swords upside down in the near future, and that tells me that he's just going to, your boss or whoever it is, if it's a male or female, but I'm seeing the King of Swords, so maybe it's that strong energy. But I'm saying that he's somebody that is not exactly considerate of the way he uses his employees. And what he's doing is the mistake that many of them do. They reward the good work you've done with more hard work. And eventually
Uh,
then their staff burns out and they go looking for other jobs. Or they stay and they get very bitter and worn out. And the next thing you know, they start getting sick and stuff. So I would say keep doing what you're doing, keep doing your job well, because you do want to, if you do find a different job, you want to leave with good, okay, even if you can't stand this person, I'd say try to be as professional and polite as you can, because you can always say what you want about them when you go home. But make sure that your attitude is good while you're there. And then what? In the meantime, put your resumes out there. I mean, really, you might feel like, well, nobody else is going to hire me. This is the only job I could find. Well, you know what? Okay, for then it was. But I'd say now that you have a job, it is easier to find another one. Okay, so you might have to make a decision. It might be even less hours, or it might be a little more hours but less pay. But you have to think about, like, you're not particularly enjoying this where you're at now, so you will have to make some decisions. But I'm pretty sure that when you put your resumes out there, it won't be long before you have another opportunity. And when you do, go all about it, very professional, turn in your 2 weeks notice, or since you're part-time, actually, technically it's 1 week notice is all you have to give, because you're part-time. So, unless you are a manager of some kind, you should give 2 weeks. But I'd say get those resumes out there, keep up the good work, but then just kind of take your little bow when you get your offer. Okay, that's what I would do, because he's not going to change. It's not going to change.
And I would remind people again that the number to call in for a reading is 602-666-6027 for a phone reading. And today's subject is Rorschach or ink blot test comparison. Is tarot and ink blot test similar? And what we are doing is trying to show that through the cards, we interpret, however you want to say it, the way that I call it the tarot trinity. When we combine our conscious, subconscious, and intuition, the final result is how we perceive what's going on in your life. And if you are wanting a description of what all this is truly about, go back to the beginning of the show, because you will get more of a description from us. Sometimes the video tends to skip in the middle of the YouTube, and we then find that the subject matter is completely missed. So I want to say, Sarah, girl, this is nothing new to you.
Mm-mm.
You have done this time and time again. You have always found yourself. Remember when we told Debbie that you have to be careful, that and when you start to be somebody that can't keep up with your own self, people test your boundaries right away. And we have to always remember that it's almost like we're tested from the minute that we get in a job or a relationship. People will always test our boundaries. They will always see how much we will do and how much they can demand from us. And this is where I say taking your bitch pill matters, because your reading says to me that extreme sound here. I'm not sure it's coming from, but it says that you have to stop being so loyal, and you have to talk to the person and not expect them to understand that you want less hours and that you are guaranteed less hours. Because this guy or this woman, whatever the sex they are, is not compassionate to you, is not understanding of you, and they are testing boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to do more hours or practice.
It seems to me that there was a change. It seems like in the past, you had a much better boss. So this might even have been, there might have been a change, because I'm seeing that things were like, there was somebody there that was he had a strong presence and was really good, a good boss. But I'm seeing that now it's just, whoever is in charge, they're just taking advantage of you. And like Anne Marie said, you're taking on the work. You might have even made yourself available for it. And, probably bending over backwards to try to do the impossible. And they see that you can do it, even though you were barely hanging on doing it, and they load you up with more stuff. Maybe you should have a little talk, or, and when you do, be as calm as you possibly can and very professional. Don't get emotional. Just explain the situation, that ask if they can possibly do this. And if they say no, you go, okay, well, thank you. And to go about your work. And in the meantime, like I said, put those resumes out and be careful with your next job, because if you do the same thing, they're going to take advantage of you again.
Again and again and again, it'll happen. And how is this? And Joseph, I would imagine that when we do things like this and let people cross our boundaries, we also, this is why I say people work the same way they love. Oftentimes, if you do this in a work situation, you will also do it in friendships and in relationships. And my sense is to remember at all times, Sarah, you need to not let people cross your boundaries, because if you do, they will keep taking and they will keep demanding more.
It happens. It's happened to all of us at some point in time. It's happened to me, and I know it's my fault.
Of course,
I didn't do anything wrong, but I allowed it to happen to myself, and
and especially if you're a nice person, and you want to treat people the way that they would treat you, and then something happens in the process, and you find all of a sudden you're shit on, and so the main thing is, Sarah, if this is something that's happening to you over and over, try to change it. Speak up. Don't let it happen. We have a Sarah HI, and I in the call room. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Can you hear me?
How are you?
Hi,
Yes.
what's on your mind?
What can we do to read for you today?
That would be great. I would like you to read on a new relationship for me, please, that I just started.
Okay.
And the name of the person that you are in, first name of the person or initials?
M.
What is it again?
M, Michael.
Okay. What do you have, Joseph?
Well, I do see that at the current time that you may be feeling slightly frustrated, or you've gone totally complacent about the behavior of the person that you're with in this new relationship. And I am seeing that there's a slight lack of honesty, perhaps. Perhaps this is a new relationship and this person feels that they don't have to reveal everything at once, but I am seeing that there's some things that are not really being told at this time. And it almost seems like that you've had some bad luck with this relationship a little bit, or maybe things haven't been going well with it, or you have a feeling that I don't know about this one. So, but I am seeing that a change would make an improvement, and what you have to be careful of is don't lose your energy. Don't let this wear you out. If you start to see that this is wearing you out, and this is what I see in the world, which is inverted, which means it showed up upside down. And I would say, don't underestimate yourself. Don't underestimate your abilities. Don't underestimate your qualities. What I'm seeing is, don't settle and don't let yourself feel lousy with a person because you might not think you could do any better, because you probably can. And I have a feeling that you can. You know, I think if you don't see this improving, I would say keep your eyes open. And I probably wouldn't rush into a commitment with this person. Okay, I'm not saying that they're bad or anything. I'm just saying that I'm seeing I'm seeing that it makes you not feel 100% great. Okay, that's what I'm seeing in the cards. And if that is the case, it's because you've probably allowed yourself to underestimate your own worth somehow. And so don't do that. What do you think, Anne Marie?
I'm unable to tell, though, if it's like me having to work through my own self-worth or if they're just not a stand-up
let me add to
person.
that.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah,
add to that, Sarah.
yeah.
Sarah, I'm shown exactly like Joseph that you are a powerhouse. But for whatever reason, your strong nature attracts weak men. The problem is that you start out being somebody that's incredibly confident and incredibly kind of like the wild mare that attracts these either broken winged birds or men that perhaps feel that you have almost a powerful mothering, healing instinct. The problem is that I'm shown that somewhere in the relationship, you give that power away. And when it does, you go from being a powerhouse to being demure or suddenly almost little girl like. So, what your reading is saying is don't allow yourself to become a little girl. Be who this man was attracted to in the first place. And also realize that this change happens to you quite quickly when you get in relationships. So try to understand that this may stem from a father or from somebody that hurt you in the past or abandoned you, and that there's a sense that you always were a powerful little girl. But somewhere you found out that you couldn't be that way because when you were abandoned. And my sense is that there is a dynamic like that going on in this relationship, which could confuse this man because he may say, wow, I thought she was this way, but now she's becoming so insecure. So, yes, there is a self esteem little girl issue happening here, a shadow child in situation, so to say. You'd be an interesting one for the Rorschach ink blot test.
Yeah.
And also understand that when I look at him, it says suddenly he's having a tough time trying to understand you. He believes that you are an awesome person, but he also doesn't understand how you went from so confident and so powerful to suddenly becoming so insecure. So I'd say, honey, go back to who you were. Be strong. Don't be afraid to be powerful because you're confusing him way more. And he may be kind of a weak person or he may be a lot more insecure than you. So that's what he was attracted to you about was your strength. And that's what I see.
You know, it's funny though. I do see a new person coming though. Because while Anne was talking to you, I thought to myself, well, who's next for you? And what I pulled up was a page of wands, which is somebody who's ambitious, perhaps maybe passionate because they have their emotions and they're passionate about what they do. And I do see that they like nature. They are a nature lover, and they seem to be a lot more. You seem to have. It's somebody that you'll have more in common with, and I see them coming in pretty soon. I would say this is the kind of person that inspires others to be at their best. And this person will inspire you to be at your best. That's what
Okay.
I see coming. I would say try using that power, like Anne Marie said, with your current beau, and see how he reacts. If he's not delighted with the return of your power, then he's not the one, and then that means
Absolutely. That's what
go
I
on to
have to
this next
say.
guy I pulled up for you, the Page of Wands.
Don't give your power away.
Okay.
Next time you continue to be powerful and forget about that
Right.
shadow little girl that got abandoned somewhere along the way and
Right.
gets insecure and weak. Forget about that. Or give her a hug and say, I love you, honey, but I'm a grown up now. So
Yeah.
just be who you are. Okay?
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're
All
welcome.
right, we have Michael. Is that who this is?
Hi,
From
Michael.
Hello. Oops, I guess I need to click on this little person.
Whoops.
Hello. How are you?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Good. How are you, Michael? What can we do for you?
Yeah, so I was wondering if I should be sticking with Gloria, considering all the stuff that's been going on recently.
Oh, Gloria. Wow, I almost dropped my.
Gloria.
I almost had the 78 card pickup here. They almost flew right out of my hands with Gloria. So let's see about Gloria. Okay, well, I am seeing that what I pulled up for the current time with what's going on now with the Four of Pentacles. I'm seeing that maybe you might not trust Gloria a whole lot for some reasons, and it has to do with things, monetary things. Perhaps it might be, in general. I won't say that. I won't say that this person is dishonest. I won't say that she's that. But I will say that sometimes people can be expensive.
Okay.
Because of their behavior. You find, gee, ever since I knew this person, I don't seem to have a whole lot of money like I used to because everything's expensive. And sometimes it could be expensive in terms of time and, just hassles. So that's what I'm seeing at the current time. But what I'm seeing...
Joseph, I'm going to add, because we only have 4 minutes, so I'm going to give a little throw in.
Okay.
I want to ask you something, Michael. Who's the second woman? Is there another woman you've been having interest in, or is she someone from your past?
Someone from the past.
And have you been comparing this person to Gloria? Because what I'm shown is that there's the sense that things started out like a red hot rocket, but somewhere along the way, she fell short of your expectations. And when it happened suddenly and in a big way. But I'm also shown that in many ways, you compare her to somebody else, and she never was that person to begin with. So if I look at point blank, is Gloria right for you? Is she worth your time and effort? And of course, only you can say that. I can't tell you what to do. Gloria is only, and interesting you said monetary, Joseph, because a big old pentacles came up. If you're expecting her to be the kind of person that you want to and that you used to invest in and felt like a king with, my sense is that Gloria is not going to meet your expectations. So I think that she's going to fall short of what you thought she was, not because she's a bad person, but because you mistook her for somebody she was not.
Yeah.
Okay. Currently, it's pretty good. It's just that every once in a while she has these bouts where she gets very, very depressed and upset about stuff. And if that wasn't in there, she'd be the perfect person. So I don't know if I can continue to deal with these roller coaster effects.
Well, I do see that what we have in the near future is that we have the world, the wheel of fortune, but it's upside down. And what I'm seeing is that there's going to be, you're going to have what I like to say is you won't be able to move forward as you would like on this relationship. And I do see it just kind of being unfulfilling. And it doesn't appear that it's going to bear any fruit.
Oh,
If I look at what's your best course of action on this, Michael, it says understand that happiness depends on you, and right now you have to realize that if you're expecting Gloria to be the beautiful person that you used to be with, who somehow for whatever reason, either because of you or her or whatever it was that ended you, this woman is not going to meet your expectations because you're a positive guy.
Yeah,
And for
you're a nice guy.
For you to be with somebody that's negative and it's kind of like putting a liberal and a Republican in the same room. You know, when you put a negative person and a positive person in the same relationship, you either learn how to ignore each other's bad bouts or you just move on. Okay, we got to go.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Love you.
Thank you.
See you again
Thank you. Thank you.
later on. All right, love.
Okay. Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Channeling experience. In addition, I will have a weekly spiritual guest from around the world. That's 2 readings per call for you. After the show, I invite you to come on over to thecallingoflight.com.